And action.
And action. Welcome, everyone. This is our Wednesday Wisdom, where we go over tips, tricks, and information on band instrument repair. Today is also the third day of the Christmas. Today is the third day of the 12 Days of Christmas promotion that we're doing, and you can get discounts on all sorts of stuff. Today is going to be our artisan pad slicks. Maybe I'll have Ryan, if we got a couple there we go. The artisan pad slicks are on sale right now, so you can get a discount on those. And if you take the hashtag 12 Days of Christmas and you put it into the comments below, sorry, 12 Days of MusicMedic. 12 days of MusicMedic.
If you put 12 Days of Christmas, you will be excluded from.
We will
strike your name off the record.
12 Days of MusicMedic, you're going to be able to win a ornament. Let's show them the ornament again, because we make those here. This is the MusicMedic ornament that says 2021 with a little snowman for posterity. Posterity?
Yes.
Hilarity. There's that, and then you can also win the tool holder itself for the artisan pad slicks, which is a cool little benchtop tool holder, and it can hold things in vertically or horizontally. You can keep your Sharpie in there, keep your pad slicks in there, keep your other key working tools with a MusicMedic handle, your pencil,
whatever you got,
sippy straw, whatever you'd like.
Yep. Beef jerky,
beef jerky, very good. So put 12 Days of MusicMedic into the comments below, whether you're watching this live, whether you're watching this between now and next Wednesday, and we'll enter you into the drawing so that you can win all this good stuff. We also have a couple of products that have been out of stock that are going to be coming back in stock for the 12 Days of Christmas. And the first one is the slide lock roller tool. So this is our custom house-made dent roller that you've seen in other videos before. So we're going to have this back in stock on Friday, and it's also going to be on sale. And then we also have back in stock the ultimate post counterbore set. So if you are a professional technician, this is something that you can use to counterbore posts and for key fitting. And this is a tool set that is it's highly coveted.
It is.
Highly coveted.
I covet mine. This, in fact, is mine from the ProShop. I had written, Sax ProShop only on it. I had to wipe that off for display purposes. But
and then Ryan, if they actually get one of these things, they all come with a protective paper, and show them just very briefly. So that's what it looks like.
Paper.
So make sure that you peel the paper off. And
Well, that's all they get. That's enough. That's enough.
So
they got to buy one to get the satisfaction of peeling the paper off the top and the bottom. See, I still have mine on the bottom. I'm waiting for that special moment.
So make sure that you guys checked out the website for that. We're also having the last course of the year with Ryan. It's going to be our key fitting course on December 9th. That's D-Day, I believe. So make sure that you sign up for the course, and Ryan's going to tell us, could you be so kind as to tell us just a couple of things about the course? I know we're going to do some key fitting stuff today, but what are they going to do in your one-day key fitting course? This is the last one of the year before we get into 2022. What are they going to learn in your key fitting course?
All kinds of things related to saxophone key fitting. We'll learn post alignment, different types of post. We'll go over both swedging and swaging, both terms. We'll go over shortening hinge tubes. I use the ultimate post counterbore set for fitting pivot screws. We'll talk about pivot screws, pivot screw fabrication. We'll talk about hinge rods, straightening hinge rods, hinge rod fabrication. I use the hinge tube facers. I use, swedging pliers, all that fun stuff for saxophone key fitting. It's just a day course, 8 hours.
Very cool.
You're stuck with me for 8 hours. I know.
Not in a row, though, right?
Not in a row. No. I break it up. There's an hour break right in the middle of, lunchtime.
Okay.
And then, we get back into it after that. The whole thing is recorded, and participants will be provided with a cloud version of the recording, good for 30 days after the course. So it's good if you accidentally miss some stuff, or maybe you can only attend the morning session. You get that afternoon session. The only thing that won't be really recorded too much would be some Q&A at the very end.
Okay, so if they can't see it live, but they are interested, they can sign up for the course. They'll get a recording. They'll be able to ask questions anyway. They can email us or call us or whatever.
Email me with
cool.
questions. Yep.
Okay. And excellent. So that's going to be on December 9th. Check out MusicMedic.com in the education section of the website for that. We also have, what else do we have? We have the giveaway. We have the 12 days of Music Medic. Make sure you put that in the comments below, whether you watch it live or watch it later in the week. And this video for today, the stream for today came from a viewer who had a question about how to install Buescher pads in the octave keys of a Buescher saxophone. And so we started thinking about what we've done over the years and the techniques we've developed for installing Buescher pads with the snaps. We have an article on MusicMedic.com in the repair guide section, which is how to install Buescher pads on a saxophone, and that's very helpful. Has a couple of pictures and some written instructions. But Ryan, could you also talk to us about how to install a saxophone pad? Say they don't have a Buescher pad anymore, and they want to just use standard pads, which is what we do. Tell them about how do they install the pad.
Sure, yeah. We've worked on quite a number of Bueschers in the Sax Pro Shop, and we have you've seen our pictures of our shop. We have what we call the Buescher wall, you know, our very Art Deco inspired. And that's kind of when this started, which was, I believe, in the early to mid 30s when Buescher started using this snap-in pad design where the pad, give you a little background on it, the pad is actually held in by this, what is also the Rezo, but it's a snap. So you can get something under there and you can just pop it right out, and you can see it has those flanges. And on the inside, if I can take this out without ripping it, you can see the inside of the pad cup actually has a little spud. We call it a spud. But you can see the original Buescher pads, they were metal backed, and they didn't use any glue. Okay, it was Buescher's kind of idea that you know, the saxophone should be able to be maintained by the player at home, so it's much easier just to buy a pad from them, unsnap the old pad, put the new pad in, re-snap it, and you're good to go. They also had the design for the Norton springs. Rather than having springs you would press into the post, they were actually screwed in. So they kind of made this saxophone to be, be able to be maintained by the average player. So they were not held in by glue. But when we work on Bueschers here in the Sax Pro Shop, we do use some kind of adhesive behind it. Really, it's shellac what we're using behind it. So I'll kind of show you, everybody, not just you, Rich.
Well,
you're welcome to pay attention too. But you've already seen this already.
I'm all ears.
Yes.
And all eyes and all ears.
Yes. So, but I'm going to show you kind of our process of working with Buescher pads. Obviously, you can't really buy traditional Buescher pads anymore. We used to stock them, I believe, at MusicMedic. We don't stock them anymore. They're just not the greatest. It's much easier just to take a standard whatever pad. This is a Rue pad. Rue pads work great in Bueschers, but it's easier just to take a standard pad with just a regular, what is that, a 3mm hole?
Correct.
Okay, and just to punch it bigger and actually use it in a Buescher. So I'm going to show you kind of the process.
I just said correct.
Correct.
Corrects.
So first thing you're going to want to do once you get the pad out, here's a bonus tip, a pre-bonus tip. Buescher pad cups are notorious for being unlevel. Okay, because without the glue, they couldn't actually float them in. So traditionally what was done was, if it was hitting heavy in the back and like the front, they put something in here and bend the pad cup down. So you can see this one, if I bring it up to here, or actually let me bring it into this guy, you can probably just see that thing is not level whatsoever. If I bring it on my bench block, you can see, oh yeah, it's got some gaps in there. There you go, you can see it. Right? So make sure you level your pad cups before you start. Now, one thing that may get in the way is this little spud. When you go to check it, sometimes it sticks out so far that when you put it on your bench block, you can see it may get in the way. So what you can do, so you can use a traditional bench block to level your pad cups, is you can slightly grind down this spud. Right? Just slightly. Keep it in there.
Slightly?
Yeah, just very slightly. Just take enough off the top there that you can actually get it so it'll slide, and you can then level your pad cup like normal. So with that, just a rotary tool, a little stone grinding wheel. But like I said, very slightly, guys are very particular when it comes to grinding spuds out and bushers, and I get it, but we're just slightly grinding that down, just lowering it slightly. We're still going to use the snap when it's all said and done, but we have to make sure that this pad cup is round and level. Okay? Just like anything else before we start with anything. All right? So that's the first thing. Then picking a pad, because you have this spud in the way, it does get a little, precarious as far as trying to determine the size. What I will do is I will take a size, I will put it over top, and I will see if I can tuck just one side in and then the other. And that kind of gives me an idea of, okay, this is about the right size for that. Right? So what I can do, what I used to use was a old hand punch, rusty old hand punch, that I would have to kind of center it myself. A lot of times my holes weren't punched centered. I pinched my fingers a lot with it. It was just a mess. So I have now switched to our, ready, here we go, Shazam! Buescher hole punch set.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a very handy set of tools for this job. Yep.
So here they are, the Buescher hole punch set. Comes with your cutting base.
So that's got a little pin in there to center the pad.
Absolutely. And you have your 3 hole punches. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Get a little bit close. There we go. You can see your 3 hole punches. This out of here. Get this.
You might not be able to see them on the black background though.
Well, here we go.
I'm just saying.
Oh,
Uno, dos.
1, 2, 3. And you have your 3 different sizes, plus your cutting base and your pin that aligns everything. And again, it depends on the size of the spud, what cutter you're going to use. And that's how I usually will just check it like that.
So you've got the 3 different cutters for the 3 different diameters that you would typically see in Buescher pads.
Exactly.
And you're just taking the cutter itself and pushing it over the top of the spud to check.
Yeah, you can see this one would not work. That one would not work. This middle one, let's see. That one looks pretty good. You could also use the large one as well. That'll definitely give you enough clearance. This large one works great if you're working on berries, which I believe has a slightly larger spud. So I'm going to use this middle size here. And we have this base. And the question is leather up, leather down. Leather up, leather down. Okay. Either way, it's going to punch a hole in it. I like to go leather side down. But that's just me. I'm weird like that. I feel that it keeps that leather against that flat base, rather than putting leather side up and having it fold in as you use the punch.
Now, because these punches are they're more stout.
Yeah.
They're meant to be hit with a mallet.
Exactly,
You could push them closed in a vise, but generally we design them to be kind of, it's not as sharp a cutter as say like
exactly. Yeah, you can see I'm running my finger on it. It's not really cutting my finger, so it's not super sharp, but it is sharp enough that and it will withstand some hammer blows.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put that on here. Give it one more for good luck. And then there we are. You can see how you just take the cutter out. And there's my Buescher hole.
Very nice.
So you can see pretty much identical to the original.
Oh, yeah, that looks good.
Okay, except this is a traditional pad.
Oh.
Okay, so you can pretty much use any style of pad. You can use regular tan pad. You can use the white roux, the black roux, the chocolate roux, extremes.
Extremes, we do that
whatever you want.
Yep.
Okay, and there we are.
So, okay, Ryan, so you've cut the hole, you've fitted over the spud. What's next?
Next is to add the shellac. Okay, now, like I said, the traditional way of Buescher, they didn't use any kind of adhesive behind it. They bent pad cups. We don't do that anymore. We're going to go ahead and use, like a regular pad, shellac behind this.
Okay.
And there is talks of how to do it, what order to do this in. You put shellac behind the pad, put it in, do your floating, and then snap it in. Do you put shellac in the spud or behind the rezzo in the snap, or do you not? I'm going to tell you my method because there are a bunch of different ways to do this. The way I start is I start with the snap in the pad, and then I apply my shellac to the back of pad like I would normally do. Now, I'm not so worried so much about getting shellac in the snap. In fact, I kind of want that. Okay, I feel that it once everything is cooled, you have that shellac in the back of the snap. and it's around the spud, it really kind of locks it in there. Okay, because these are very old. I mean, this horn right here is from the mid-30s, so chances are these spuds have seen some life. Okay, these snaps have seen some life. So getting a little bit of shellac in the actual back of the snap is not that big of a deal.
Have you ever worked in like cake decorating? Like I like how you spin that.
Spin that,
I've
yeah.
never seen
you
that.
like that? It's the yeah.
Robert says that he's gonna get a he's looking to get padding done on his Buescher custom bear, which I know we've done work on.
Yes,
before.
we've done Buescher custom berries. They also have snaps.
And I think we've done root pads
Yes.
extreme on those.
Yeah, traditionally, yeah, the Buescher, it really works well with the root pads. It gives that nice dark Buescher sound.
That's cool. Okay,
So
you've got your shellac on the back of the pad, and it looks like there's some in the hole.
There it is, just a little bit. Now, I wasn't just filling this up. I was getting it around it, and if I squeezed them in when I flattened it,
Yes.
flattened it. Sorry, I get a little excited talking about Buescher snapping. That's okay. You can see the snaps in there. Okay, it prevented that shellac from actually getting in and getting in the felt and all that. So now I'm going to heat up my pad cup. So Rich, here's your time to do your plugs.
What am I plugging?
We got some courses.
You've got your course on
I got something
December
else.
9th.
December 9th. It's a Thursday.
Is it a Thursday?
It is
D-Day.
It is
D-Day
Yeah.
is December 9th. No, that's that I'm looking forward to that course run because that'll be the last one of the year before we get into next year's stuff.
We're already planning our next year's batch of courses.
We also have on December 10th, since we're doing our 12 Days of Christmas kind of promotion, like look to social media for that. But on December 10th, we're going to do our like little YouTube video of the 12 Days of Christmas.
Yes, it's also the Christmas party of the 10th.
That's right. We might stream our Christmas
We might
party.
stream our party. So if I don't work here on the 11th, that'll be why. I had too good of a time.
I also plan on not working on the 11th. But,
Yes.
yeah, so if you guys want to get involved on the giveaways, of course, make sure that you're taking the 12 Days of Music Medic. Put it in the comments below. You'll be entered in to win the tool holder that you can see in the upper, you can't really see it. It's next to the Z-Gun though.
Here it is.
And then you can also win the ornament for your tree. We'll probably do, I don't know, probably do a couple weeks of ornaments.
Yeah.
So let people get them on their tree for Christmas. And they're nice ornaments.
Yeah.
I have last year's on my tree as we speak.
Yeah, very nice. You didn't even take it down. It stays up all year.
That's right.
At the Zimmerman household.
So you put that, so you heated up the pad cup. Are we still
Pad
heating?
cup is heated. It's ready to go. And now what I can do is I can start to snap this in. So I can feel, because that spud is hot too, that snap starting to go around it. Now it's not quite snapped in yet.
Are you listening for something?
It's more of a feel. You'll feel that kind of pop in.
Okay.
Really what I'll do is I'll use my parallel pliers to actually fully snap that spud in. So again, I'll just heat it up a little bit more.
Now with the Z-Gun, you can just put that right up against the...
Right up against it. And this is that old original lacquer.
It's not going to burn.
Not doing anything.
That's cool.
So, and then I'm going to go ahead
Down
and
a little bit.
snap that in, and I can feel it just like that.
So where do you have the other... Do you have that on the spine or on the
I do
cup?
have it on the spine, and for demonstration purpose, I just quickly put it on there. If you wanted to give it a little bit of a cushion, you can put a little piece of leather, cork, or whatever, so you don't scratch up the spine or scratch up the spud. But we're in there, we're pressed in. Now what I can do is, as it kind of cools, I can just even out a lot of that shellac behind the pad. There we are. And then you can pad like normal.
Now we can pad.
Now you can pad like, and it's just traditional, padding, you're heating things up. I like to, especially with the Bueschers, like to use the pad irons.
Okay.
Those pad rings, because that really evens things out, and then you can kind of go from there using your pad slicks, using your heating source. The nice thing about Buescher pads, if you haven't worked with them, a traditional pad, sometimes if it's in the pad cup and you want to get this high spot down, the whole thing will shift like this, like a seesaw. Okay, it'll kind of do this, especially if the pad is too small in the pad cup. What tends to happen with Bueschers, since you have that snap right in the middle, if you want to lower that high spot, it just does this. Okay, so it almost kind of pivots, or it centers that center pivot point, so it doesn't actually do one of these. So you can actually get it to do this. I find once you do this, once you add shellac, once you level your pad cups, you do all the other things that we've talked about: dry fitting, key fitting, flat pads, flat pad cups, flat tone holes. padding on a Buescher is perfectly fine.
That's
It's
cool.
just that little extra of punching holes in your existing pads and then using the snap for the reso.
Now, do you, because the idea for this stream came from a viewer who has trouble, they were having trouble with the octave key pads.
Octave key pad.
Are there certain spuds that you know, at the MusicMedic ProShop here, we've done a lot of Bueschers. Are there certain spuds that you choose to grind out or leave in specifically?
Yes, we do. Now, this is a very touchy subject for you Buescher enthusiasts. We're not going to indiscriminately grind out snaps just because we don't want to work with them. You can see it is very possible to work with a snap-in pad using traditional methods for repair. But what you can see here in the octave pads, there they are. Here's the one for the body. Here's the one for the neck. Okay. Originally, they did have very small snaps in it. And the back of the octave pad actually had, rather than having that cardboard backing, it had like a little, almost like a little button snap. And it would snap over that very, very tiny snap. We grind these out. If they're not already ground out, a lot of times they're already ground out. This neck octave had already been ground out, but they're still kind of in this body octave. You'll see guys use traditional octave pads and just kind of smush them over that spud without grinding it out. I mean, it kind of works, but I'll tell you right now, just grind them out. Just grind them out and use traditional octave pads. The other area, again, not to offend you Buescher enthusiasts, but the other area that we will, I'm going to say 99.9% of the time grind out is this C key for the top stack.
Okay.
With your back bar. Because this is it's such a small pad to deal with, the spud itself is a very close size to the actual reso. So when you end up punching the pad, like here it is, the original one, what ends up happening is that leather actually kind of starts to flip over the actual reso itself. And it's just kind of difficult to work with. So this is the one that we will, I'm going to say, always grind out. It's
You're gonna
much,
go
much
with
easier.
always
Grind out. It's just
Okay.
much easier to pad with that. Traditional pads, especially when you get under the 14, they don't come with holes.
Oh yeah, the standard pads wouldn't have
Standard
a hole
pads don't
punched
have
anyway.
holes in them. So, you know, that's another maybe reason to do it. The other area we'll do it is on the side E. Okay. That is another thing where the size of the spud to the size of the actual little snap is very close, and it just makes it difficult to pad with. The other ones, believe it or not, a lot of times we'll leave in, like the palm key pads.
Okay.
But if you grind them out, I'm not going to say either way, because the size of the original snap is the size of a rivet, so you're not changing the reso size. So yeah, so there's my 2 cents. Like I said, we will work with them. We will keep them in. You know.
Okay.
So yeah, it's perfectly fine to work with Buescher snap-in pads.
Okay.
Not
cool.
grind them out.
What about the last question? I have another question. What's up, Brian? Good to see you, sir. Or good to hear your comment.
Good to read your words.
Thank you guys for being here. The last question, Ryan. How do you adjust the feet on the snaps?
Ah, yes.
Feet on the snaps.
The feet on the snaps, and what you are referring to, kind sir, is when you undo a snap, and you can see these little flanges that actually go and they grip around the spud. What tends to happen is, over time of snapping it on, unsnapping, snapping, unsnapping, these flanges will actually start to flare out. Okay, so it makes it a little difficult.